I want to close the window because it's hot. I'm already sweating and I just started sitting here. But also, there's noises outside. So some of the ratings I have in my bullet journal have changed on Goodreads because I filmed a video like 2 days ago where I changed my rating system. But I will give you the original rating that I have in my bullet journal because I don't want to have like multiple things open and confuse myself. So I'm just going to tell you the original ones. But I read 14 books in July. I wanted to read more, but I think I did pretty good. So I'm happy with that. So without further ado, because I've already filmed like 3 minutes of me doing nothing, let's start. I gave 4 stars to Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. This is like already off to a disastrous start. That was McDonald's at the door. But anyways, I gave 4 stars to Dr. Sleep. I think this is the ones that I kind of reduced, but that's okay. I enjoyed it. We watched the movie like the night before I started reading this, and there were some things in here, mostly pertaining to Abra, that I was like, some of it I was glad they changed it in the movie. Some of it I was like, why didn't you include that in? That's pretty dope. That's really cool. And like other things that were just like very interesting. It was a Stephen King book. Can't decide if I like him or not yet though. Still up, and we're trying more. There's more. I have more. So we'll see what happens. But that's just how I feel. But I do like the movie, and I will continue to watch the movie. The Shining, on the other hand, is just eesh. The next book I read was The Daughter of the Siren Queen, wow, by Trisha Levenseller. I have called this the Pirate King so many times. I've also put the Pirate King in one of my boxes. So this one will join it now. I'm very excited for that. It is 5 stars, obviously. It picks up like almost right where the last book ends, kind of thing. And I know with pirate books there's like months and weeks and stuff where like nothing happens because they're like sailing and stuff. So like the time between that one and this one, really nothing really happens. I am in love with Raiden. Can I just say, get me a pirate boo, please. Like, I am perfection. Everything about this is just really good. So good. Although her mom is a bit weird. I will say, like, when she finally like goes to the place where the map brings them, a bit weird. But if you like pirates, you like sirens, you want to read about the open sea and some magic, this is the book for you. I don't want to tell you too much because it's the first one. This is the second one. So the next book I read, I also gave 5 stars to because it's like honestly one of my favorite series I've read this year, and it is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tony Ammiette. Can I just say I love the cover on this one. It's beautiful, and it is also gorgeous on the inside, just like the first one was. And this one continues. They have reactivated magic in their world, and people who didn't have magic before are getting it, and people who shouldn't have magic are also getting it, and there's a whole war going on. And I only thought this was a duology, so I thought everything was going to be wrapped up by the end of this, but there's more coming. And when I ended this book and thought that this was the end, I lost my mind a little bit because this ends on a terrible note. Because our main characters just have the worst possible luck ever. They're trying so hard to please everybody and it's not working. So I think that in the next one there's going to be some hell to pay. But I love everybody. Who was it in this book that I couldn't really stand? Zayla is amazing. She's like literally my favorite character. Amari, girl needs some help. She's trying so hard to do what's right, but like, girl needs some help. I will just say that. The next book that I read, I gave 4 stars, and it is A Reaper at the Gates by Saboteur. I liked the first book a lot. The second book was great. This is the third book. I don't know if I was just not in the mood to read it, but it felt like it just drug on and on and on and on. I will continue to read the series because I need to know what happens to my dear love Helene. They don't even start the chapters with Helene anymore. They start them with Bloodstrike. And I love her. She needs the world. Can they just like treat her nicely for once, please? I just need to know what happens with her. I couldn't care less about anybody else. This next book is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I have realized in this one that Neil Gaiman has a thing for underground cities and tunnels. Very strange. But this is the first Neil Gaiman book I think I gave 5 stars to. I really like this one. It is about a kid who, his family gets murdered and he escapes during the murder and he ends up in a graveyard, and the ghosts end up taking care of him and raising him until he gets about 16, and the man who killed his family is still after him, but he just like kind of doesn't know it. So he learns all these graveyard tricks that ghosts use, because when you're buried in a graveyard, that's where you end up living for the rest of eternity. So he ends up learning all these tricks that help him with ghosts, be a ghost, but he's still like a person, so it's weird. He just helps the graveyard and the graveyard helps him, and all the ghosts in it are wonderful, and he has a guardian. And this has like actual artwork in it, and I very much appreciated it. I really like this one a lot. It's like so much. Glad I read it. Next we have Queens of Fenburne by Kendar Blake. I have finally finished this entire thing. This is the novella. There are 2 stories in here. The first story I wasn't expecting. It is about the 3 queens when their mother gave birth to them and did her little thing. And then the other one was about the last oracle queen that they had. And I did like that one. I thought there was going to be more to it. But that was the one I was excited for. So I gave this one overall 4 stars. I would like to learn about more queens. I like couldn't care less about the 3 that we learned all about. Like their stories that were done. But give me more queens. That would be very nice. The next book is like the start of the readathon. I read 7 books for it. We will talk about them. I read A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. This was very fun. I have been liking the Truly Devious series, and I was like, I need another mystery book, and this is told from the Watson side point of view, which is Jamie? Yeah, Jamie. And Jamie ends up going to school with Charlotte Holmes, and their parents kind of push them together, and then they end up solving crime, and it's very fun. Not fun that people get murdered, but like fun. I like Charlotte as a character. She is like a little crazy, and I love her. Jamie is a bit annoying, but like he tries, okay? He really tries, but he's a writer, so like I've never read the original Sherlock Holmes. I should probably do that. The next book I read is another Neil Gaiman one, and it is The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I gave this one 3 stars in my book. I can't remember if I changed it or not. Honestly, I think this is my least favorite Neil Gaiman book, and I was really excited to read it, and I don't know what happened for like the first 4 chapters, and I didn't start liking it until really this lady showed up, and then I really liked it in like chapter 10, 11, which is like really close to the end because there's only 12 chapters or something in here. But the basic premise is, if you want to know, this little boy right here is hanging out with his friend down the street, who, her name is Lottie, I think. But anyways, this boy returns to visit his old house and runs into her family and is like, yo, where is she? And they can't answer that question because, or her name is Letty, and he goes and sits out by the ocean, which is their pond, and they live at the end of the lake, that's why. And he remembers their childhood when him and Letty were friends, and what happened with his babysitter, or nanny I guess, and how she basically tried to kill them because she is not of this world. That's pretty much what it is. He's just remembering his childhood when this crazy thing happened. It was very strange. Still literally can't tell you what really went on in the first half of the book. The next book, luckily, was a 5-star read for me, and it is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leah Bardugo. Now, if you were having questioning thoughts about whether or not you should read this, let me tell you, it is a Wonder Woman origin story. However, instead of Steve landing on the island, a woman named Aaliyah lands on the island. That is basically all you need to know. Not really. But Aaliyah is a descendant of Helen of Troy, and Helen of Troy had the Warbringer gift, which means that destruction strikes all around her. And a group of people have caught on to that some people in the line of Helen have the Warbringer gift and they bring war wherever they are. So they have taken it upon themselves to kill everybody who has the Warbringer gift. And Aaliyah happens to be the next one who has the Warbringer gift. And so Diana is going to help them. Go help her. They travel everywhere. She rides the subway. It's very fun. The next book I read is Now Entering Adamsville by Francesca Savia. Wow, I butcher that every time. She's honestly like one of my favorite authors and I love her to death, and I gave this 5 stars. It is not only gorgeous, but there is some artwork of the characters in the first 2 pages so you can see what they look like. But this is about Zora, I believe her name is. I forget every single time. Zora, yes. Zora can see ghosts. Her cousin Artemis can sense ghosts. They are going to try to fight this thing called a fire starter that starts fires and eats ghosts. It kills people so it can eat their ghosts. So Zora is like, don't do that. That's not good. And people think she is the one who's starting all the fires, but she's not, obviously. She's trying to heal them, so she has to deal with small town problems. I feel a lot of them in this book I can relate. I can relate on a much smaller town scale because this one seems like pretty big. But this gave me like Paranorman vibes and I loved it. It was really good. She's also like, she has prosthetic fingers because she's missing a bunch of her fingers, and I very much appreciated that. The next book I read is Cursed by Thomas Wheeler, but illustrations by Frank Miller. This is that TV show that just came out, and I read this and I gave it originally 3 stars. I think I reduced it down to 2. I will not unhaul it because it has really pretty pictures in it and it looks gorgeous, but I can't tell you what happened. I tried to watch the TV show. Not only was it super whitewashed, but because everybody obviously already knows that it's whitewashed at this point, it was not good. I couldn't even make it through the first episode. I did not want to finish this book. I thought I was gonna like it. I was very excited when it started, but I literally can't tell you what happens in this book. There's something with a sword. She's Queen of the Fae or the Hidden. She's got magic. I can tell you the artwork is really good. I love the artwork in this book. Like, oh, it's so nice. This is so cool. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I don't think that it's very good, and I don't say that a lot, but I've read like 2 books this month that I really hated, and that's saying a lot. Normally I'm better than that, but luckily the next book that I read was great, and it is Romanov by Nadine Brandes. This is obviously Anastasia because it's Romanov and it's Russian, and look at how gorgeous. And I need to get closer because I cannot tell you how much I love this. There is romance, there is magic, there is all the stuff, and I think up until the point of the actual like real life of what actually happened, most of it was pretty much true, and then stuff happens that's magic related, and that was like the rest. It wasn't like the movie, I'll tell you that right now, because real life was not the movie. The movie is not the same. The movie, she loses her memory and all that stuff. In this one, she gets put into like quarantine with her family, and they are held in exiles, what they call it, in a house with the I cannot remember what they're called, guarding them basically. But it was very fun. The next book I gave 4 stars, and it is Deadly Class Volume 8, Never Go Back. I love this graphic novel. The artwork is fantastic. He's always tripping out, having the worst time because people just hate him, and he also does drugs, and the artwork is fantastic for that. I love the main chick right there, Maria. She's my favorite character in the entire thing, and she's not there half the time, but like I love her to death. The main character is kind of annoying, I will say that, but like he's meant to be, so it's fine. And the 14th and final book that I read this month I gave 5 stars to, and it is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the 3rd book in the Truly Deity series. This is the one that we get all of the information in. Everything is revealed except for David. David's still confusing, but yeah, everything else is like chef's kiss. I love this series so much. I can't. can't even process it, really. I need to get the other two in hardcover so that they now match this one, because I literally could not wait for this one in November to be paperback. Basically, you need to read this because Stevie is trying to solve the murder of the original owner of the school. I can't think of his name. His wife and daughter got kidnapped, and the wife was murdered, and then they didn't find the daughter. And then there's also people been murdered in her time, and she's trying to figure out who did it. And she is the smartest person at this place for murders, specifically because it's a very smart school. I would go to school here. But I think that's it. That's all I gotta say. I don't know what else to do. I had like a weird month of reading, I will say that. I got most of my TBR done though. I also I kept up with the page tracker. I haven't done it the last couple days, but like that's what it looks like. It looks beautiful. But I did not keep up with my writing what books are about. That's why I'm having a rough time right now. But we will start with August. Hello to August. Today is August 1st, in case you're wondering. This will be up soon. Let me know what your favorite book in August was. I would love to know. My favorite book in August, I want to say this one, but I also think it was Wonder Woman. It's a toss-up. These were my two favorite books I read in August. I actually had some books I like really hated this month, so that was weird because normally I'm better than that. Oh, I also really loved this one and this one. So I had 4 favorite books. And that's fine with me. It was overall good. If I could read 14 books every month like I have been like for the last, like I've averaged about 14 books since quarantine started every month, and that will really help me get through the massive TBR shelf that I have. When I say shelves, because it's pretty much plural, but that's okay. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe. I have a bunch of links in the description that you can check out, and have a good August. Good luck to you. Bye.